Morning, everybody, and welcome to the Mortgage Coach Tuesday interview. Every Tuesday morning, we are here at 9 o'clock Pacific to have the mortgage industry's best sales meeting. Today, as my guest, I have Mr. Shane Kidwell out of Seattle market. What's up, Shane?
What's up, man? How are you, Dave?
I'm doing good. So I love your story. I think the mortgage coach community is going to love your story. This is a man who was a fireman full-time. And how long has it been now that you've been full-time as a mortgage professional?
A year and 3 months.
Right on. Well, first of all, thank you for your service as a fireman, and to all your brothers and sisters who serve us. We super appreciate that. Let's talk about your journey going from, full-time fireman, part-time loan officer. Now you're a full-time loan officer. Why don't you just start with your production? How much business are you doing right now? Describe your team, your process, and then let's kind of tell the story of how you got to where you're at today.
Yeah, so I'm what's called a producing branch manager. So I have my own personal production team, and then I've also got 3 branches that I manage. My team will do about $40 million this year. The branch will do about $90 million this year. And then we just brought on 4 loan officers in the last 2 weeks. So we're a young, growing team, super excited about just the opportunities we have. And so my journey started at probably what some would say the worst time, right when the mortgage industry collapsed. That's when I had, in my infinite wisdom, decided that that'd be a good time to jump in. And I was a fireman at the time, and I hurt my back on the job, and I felt like I needed something to fall back on that wasn't, physically demanding. Not that this isn't stressful, but I could do it from a wheelchair. As sad as that is to say, that was the thought process I had. Met a good buddy who was in the mortgage business back in the day, and he suggested I get into the industry. And so I started, just hitting singles. Wasn't hitting home runs. Started out my first year, I did a deal. My second year, I did 2. So we doubled. Our team doubled in size and growth, and then we just started taking off. We got connected with some pretty cool real estate partnerships here locally. And from the very beginning, I looked at this business and I thought, I don't have a database of 1,000. I'm brand new. How do I compete against the big boys, the big girls in the industry? And so I started using technology. Started using video 7 years ago. Started using Mortgage Coach right away. So I've been through several different iterations and updates of Mortgage Coach. And for me, just technology was the thing I could use to differentiate myself, where you don't need to have experience in the business to show your skill.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think one of the things that's special about your story is, you went from 20 million to 40 million. Just recently. That's something that's not like you've been a $40 million a year team for a long time. So was it last year? Did you do 40 million last year?
No, this will be this last year we did 40 million. This year will be 40 million. Last year, my last year part time I did 24 million. So we went from 24 million to 40 million. In about 12 months.
Love that. And by the way, folks, he did that because he had built a perfect process. He had automation to help scale it. And that's how you go from 20 to 40 in a year. And let's face it, we're coming into a year, 2018, where there's going to be less refis, more purchases. And I personally believe while Fannie and Freddie are expecting it to be 10, 20% less loans, everybody on this call, could do more loans. You could grow by 20%, 30%, 40%, even more if you have the right technology in place to scale your perfect loan process. So let's talk about, I think you might have answered your mortgage why. I was a fireman, and I wanted to be able to provide for my family, even if I was in a wheelchair. But when you think of how your mortgage why has evolved today, why are you a loan officer? Why are you a mortgage professional?
Yeah, I think like any of us in this business would understand that, the successes can be incredible, but the failures can be tough. And for me, like the ability to provide for my family and have flexibility, work anywhere in the world, and be able to control my own destiny, that's huge. As a blue-collar fireman, we all made the exact same wage, whether I worked, 100 times harder than the guy sitting next to me. And what I love about this business is if you work hard, you're organized, you have a process, you're tactical, and you're thinking, you will do well. I mean, it's almost impossible for good people doing things the right way with the right technology not to succeed. And there's very few industries where you can do that, be your own boss, create your own communication, create your own branding within an organization that gives you benefits, that has all these other great amenities that, I mean, real estate agents don't have half of the benefits that we have in our industry. And so I looked at all of that. I looked at what it would do for my family. And really, too, so that was kind of my why over the last couple of years. And then in the last year, as we started growing out like our team, one of the things that's really cool about Mortgage Coach and what you're doing in like our industry and these networking groups that we're all a part of is the globe shrinks. And it's something that I've never really thought of before, but my group of friends now is so different than it was 5 years ago in this business. And it's because of groups like this and high-thinking people sharing their ideas together. And that's been what's been really enjoyable for me is over the last year just sharing what we're doing, how we're growing. And, you know, I think in business, everybody has blind spots. And what we see with my background is different than what you see. And so I'm able to see things from a different perspective and share that with other people. And so that's really been what's been impactful and empowering over the last 12 months for me, is just being able to share what we're doing with other people and help them grow.
I love it. I love your mortgage why. I hope a lot of young mortgage professionals get into this business believe that you could kill it. I mean, within 4 years, you could go from 0 to hero. And I've interviewed enough people to say, hey, you could do it in 2 years. You know, if you get in the right tribe. I do believe Mortgage Coach is absolutely one of those tribes. And for anybody that's on this, we have a private Facebook group, Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind. Become part of that opt-in group on Facebook. And every Fridays, we have a mastermind around how to be more productive. Okay, so let's keep it on this interview. You started using Mortgage Coach relatively soon. You know, what is your Mortgage Coach why? You know, why do you use Mortgage Coach? Why do you engage in our tribe, you know, watch our videos, contribute?
Yeah, so our company really believes in teaching and leadership, and they had a guest speaker coming to town that we were able to have breakfast with, Andy Andrews. Many of you probably heard of Andy. Powerful guy. And one of the things that really stuck with me that Andy said was, if you want to double your business, do the opposite of the competition. And I had never thought of that, but instead of looking at the competition, what are they doing, and let me see if I can make that widget just a little bit shinier or a little bit sexier, do the opposite. And what I found in the business when I started is everybody was putting together these elaborate Excel spreadsheets for their price quotes. And now it's a loan estimate for, you know, we have our GFEs. And I thought, man, that seems like an archaic way of sharing powerful information that can be super complex and confusing with people. And so for me, like the reason I use Mortgage Coach is it's a differentiator. I'm doing the opposite of what, you know, the average loan officer is doing. You know, if I have a client who is shopping me with another lender in town, they're going to get a 2-page PDF, and I'm going to give them a 5-page document with an interactive website, a video, and tools that we can interact and share with together. That's doing the opposite of the competition. And I think that's one of the reasons, just having that philosophy of looking for things that are different is what's really helped us grow.
I love that. I love that. I couldn't help myself. I was going to do, you know, this pure interview, but guys, anybody that's watching this is what every loan officer in America is doing. By the way, every loan officer but the Mortgage Coach loan officer. And while we're a big tribe, you know, we've got over 10,000 loan officers in our community, still, average loan officers are delivering fee worksheets. Mortgage Coach loan officer is delivering graphs and charts. They're creating clarity, you know, and I want to get to this in a minute, but you know, how do you create clarity and turn, you know, clarity into a competitive advantage with realtors? So I want to talk about how you do that. But everyone on this call, I want to make sure you're connecting the dots here. Create differentiation. And when it comes to quoting rates, providing pre-approvals, massive opportunity for you to differentiate. So let's talk about your value proposition and how you formed it. And then what is your value proposition now? And I'd like you to describe it to a borrower, you know, why you? Yeah. And then after you do that, I'll provide some commentary, and then I want you to tell a realtor, why you? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so what we always tell the consumer is, listen, anybody can get you a product and a rate. That's not why you're working with us. You're working with us because we're going to give you a 10-star communication experience We have a client experience just from start to finish that is second to none. And we use technology to not only help educate, but empower you to make your own decisions and understand what you're getting into. We do that with technology through Mortgage Coach, through our mobile app. We use that through video. We do bomb code video to interact with people in a very unique way. Our communication plan includes our CRM. We use Salesforce with text messaging, email, phone calls, videos. So we're staying in front of people. And one of the biggest things that people always say to us that we are super proud to take as a compliment is you communicate to us the questions and the answers before we even ask them. That is the goal of our team. So we have 3 pillars that we really live by. It's communication, client experience, and technology. And those are things that we use to make sure that the client experience is 10. We expect a 10 from our team, and we know that the client at any point can come to us and say that we're giving them a 10 experience from the standpoint of how, from a corporate, from a branch, and an individual standpoint, we're treating them and communicating to them in the process. And then for real estate agents, it's that plus.
Time out.
Yep.
Time out. Okay, so when you said 10, is it 10 point or is it scale of 1 to 10?
Scale of 1 to 10. Yeah.
So we're dedicated to this level 10 partnership. We use technology to communicate more effectively with you. By the way, questions came in. What CRM do you use? I think you use Jungo. Is that right?
Yeah, so we use Jungo, which is built on the Salesforce platform, and we're transitioning straight to Salesforce from Jungo, just because I'm a technology geek and I like having that aspect. But Jungo is amazing because it gives you so much flexibility and customization. I think the easiest way for those of you who don't know Jungo and you're comparing CRMs is it's a Ford Taurus with a Corvette engine. There's so much you can do with it, but on the surface it looks very blasé. But we use Jungo, and then we use our Simple Nexus mobile app through our company, and then we use a couple other technologies as well.
Okay. And then I know you do a lot of texting, so you've built text into your experience. And let's face it, millennial buyers are a big opportunity. Millennial agents, young millennial agents are killing it. There are realtors that have been in business for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years that are killing it. And so it's important that you communicate in a way that's consistent, scalable, and immediate. So could you speak to your communication rhythms? How, what's it, oh, by the way, when you send an email or when you send a mortgage coach, is that via email or via text?
Yeah, great question. So you said something that hits home for me that I'm a huge proponent of, scalability. To go from doing 20 million to 40, from 40 to 60, whatever the number is, your technology, your systems have to scale. If you have a 2-seater car and you want to have a family of 6, that's not scalable. And so in technology, we only use things that scale. And so for our communication platform, we have text messaging at every milestone. We feel like the way to communicate to people is the way they want you to communicate to them. So instead of saying, hey, I'm an email guy, or I'm a phone guy, or I'm a text guy, I hear people say that all the time, I'm a phone guy. Well, what if your client's a text guy or gal? So what we do is we use all forms of communication. We let the client pick what works best for them. If they're big on text, we have that platform. If they do like email, they're more analytical. We do very extensive, thorough emails. If people like video, they like interaction. We use that bomb for that. So our communication is based on what the consumer wants, not what we think is best for us. And so that's our communication platform. And that's kind of our goal for that.
Got it. Well, I want to make sure everybody knows, first of all, Jungo has an integration with us. The Simple Nexus crew are building an integration with Mortgage Coach. So, mandates for everybody on the call, every family gets a total cost analysis, and you should be using a CRM that integrates with Mortgage Coach. Also, Optimal Blue, the company you work for has the Optimal Blue integration. So that's great. How often are you adding a video to your total cost analysis?
Yeah, you asked me something else, Dave, that I forgot to mention is how do I send my total cost analysis? So we use a lot of scripting in our email. It's just, again, it lets us scale, lets us be quick, lets us be thorough. And again, we want to make something a 10, and then we want to replicate that. So we have email scripting we use with Mortgage Coach. We also do videos. One of the things that I like to do is I like to build out video demos. So I use screen sharing technology, Screencast-O-Matic. I walked through a demo of Mortgage Coach, how to navigate the total cost analysis, because let's be honest, Mortgage Coach is amazing for some people, and for other people, like they feel like at first glance it's too confusing. And so once you understand the system, it's very easy to navigate. But for those people who might not be technologically savvy, we wanted to build out a tutorial to kind of show them how easy it can be, right? So we use that. So instead of people saying, I don't like it, it doesn't work, we have a 1-minute video tutorial that shows them how to navigate the system. And so what we do is we always share that via email. We'll share that via text as well. Sending them a text saying, hey, check your inbox. We just sent you, your total cost analysis. And then what we'll also do is the video piece. So we have the video tutorial. And then even, quite honestly, for some people, like Mortgage Coach has a great PDF as well that presents it to some people in a way that just works for them. And so again, just going back to our communication model, is if you're online and you're tech savvy, great, use the web link, use the mobile app. If you're not, use the PDF. We even screen share that top left section, that summary section, and put that into the email. So if somebody just is on the go and wants to get a quick glance before they get home and can dive into the full presentation, they can get a quick glance at that top section as well.
So I'm going to ask for a few things. Everyone is asking for a template of one of your emails. Would you mind forwarding me one of your emails so we can share that with the gang? I did last week, I interviewed 5 top Mortgage Coach members, and they all showed their workflow, how they could create a Mortgage Coach TCA in 5 minutes or less. Shane, knowing how good you are with that screen sharing software, would you mind just creating a 5 to 7 minute, this is my workflow, this is how I create a total cost analysis? Would you be willing to do that as a homework assignment?
Yeah, we've got that done already, so I'll send it to you.
Awesome. Yeah, or just put it on our I'm going to take the recording to this, put it on Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind, and let's have a conversation this week. Anything you're willing to share. And by the way, folks, feel free to keep asking questions. But also, Shane is here to give. I mean, the guy he's a servant leader, has a servant heart. If you have questions, he'll answer them. Someone asked, and we get back to the Realtor piece because we got to do that, but what's on the whiteboard? People are just curious. What's going on back there?
So for me, I like to segment my goals. And so every one of those sections is one of my goals. And so I'm a part of a fraternity of entrepreneurial men, and we have what are called NRAs, Necessary Required Actions. So that's my NRAs for the day. And then we have another one called ATMs, and ATMs are actions that matter. And so for me, every day, I have a squirrel brain, I gotta be honest. I think most loan officers can relate to that. We get excited easily, and we lose focus, we lose track. We don't want to finish up building the home. We want to start the home, and then we want to step into another project, and I'm no different. So for me, my ATMs that I have on my whiteboard there are my actions that matter for the day, for my spirituality, my physicality, my relationship with my wife, and my team at the office.
And so you update that every day. So you've got 4 big goals of the day, and then a couple, like 3 actions for each one of the goals?
So for me, like my ATMs are the same every day. It's did I connect, did I invest, did I sweat, and did I create? And those are the same every day. And I think, really that's no different than Mortgage Coach. It's a habit. The more you do something as a habit, the more you can not only scale your business, but like I was just on a call with one of my team members, and we talked about becoming more successful and growing, becoming a wealthier person in health and financially without working 80 hours a week. And I think for me, one of the things I found is that the more, I guess, daily actions that you do consistently, I find that I have more success. So it keeps me on track, keeps my brain focused, and so I use a ton of whiteboards. I keep the whiteboard industry in business.
Right on. I love it. So by the way, folks, keep the questions coming. Juan just asked, he loves that workflow video, so please share it. But also you mentioned that you created some type of a tutorial for your borrowers. Mm-hmm. Is that something you'd be willing to share also?
Yeah, so what I'll do is if I can post it, Dave, I'll post it. Otherwise, I'll send you one of my email scripts that we use, and it has a link to our tutorial. And here's the deal. So people would say, well, do you do a new tutorial for every client? Personally, I don't. Now, I used to do that. That helped me get from 20 to 40. Now that I'm managing 18 people, I'm in a different place. And as I'm moving, so now my team, I have 2 loan partners who are licensed junior loan officers who do the majority of my Mortgage Coach presentations now. I build technology and tutorials and scripting so that it's the same for every consumer. So my tutorial is slightly generic. And again, it's not me saying, hey, John, or hey, Steve, or hey, June. It's a generic tutorial that people can use to navigate the site. You know what? I've never had anybody say to me, you know, that video wasn't for me, Shane. Like, nobody cares. People just want to be educated.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I did a contest a couple times called the Referral Magnet Contest, and it's where top mortgage coach members would create what is a total cost analysis. Now, it started off as being this, I think Josh Metal created the first one where it was him describing his total cost analysis to a family or realtor. And then it really became a life of its own. We've got some of the videos where a loan officer is describing it to a realtor. We have some that are like lead magnets. They're 1 to 2 minute videos that you'd post on Facebook that would be designed to get referrals. So I recommend everybody has at least one video that is you describing your total cost analysis to a family in a way that's compelling, in a way that's short, and in a way that's just useful to them. And you can use that to generate leads, and you can use that to educate families how you're unique and valuable, as well as having one for your realtors. And by the way, if nothing else, when creating these videos, you get better at having the conversation. I always say, like, I could line up a bunch of loan officers and say, explain to me the difference between no cost and a cost loan and FHA versus conventional. And you have 2 minutes to describe it. Each one of them could describe it. I will pick out the top producer. I will pick out the low producer on how well they are at netting that out. So just creating these videos is sales training. So everybody on this call, Shane has obviously been doing a lot of sales training on himself because he's creating these videos that are tutorials. But every time he does that, he becomes a better salesman. He becomes a better teacher and a better leader to families. That's why it's so important that you add videos to your total cost analysis, so you get good at having that conversation.
Hey Dave, can I jump in real quick?
Of course.
So when I started, I would say the first 4 years I did Mortgage Coach, every presentation I did, I would do the presentation, save the PDF copy, have the hyperlink for the mobile app, and the presentation, and then I also did a video screen share. So I would use either Jing or Screencast-O-Matic, and every presentation I would do a video. It'd start with me, like the camera on myself. Hey John, hey Bob, so excited to be working with you, going through like what we talked about on our call together, and then I would go through and navigate their presentation and show them what to look for and what to look at. And that was one of the most powerful things I did to start my business, because again, the big banks, the big box banks would send out a PDF. We would do a 5-minute interactive tutorial and video, walk people through the process. And it quickly goes from what's your fee, what's your rate, to, hey, did you think of this other product? And you become a consultant. You become an advisor. And like our name is Mortgage Advisor, Loan Consultant, but a lot of people don't actually consult and advise. They just spit stuff out to try to get their emails done for the day. And so when I started, and for anybody who's starting with Mortgage Coach, I would say it's a non-negotiable. Video every time until you don't have enough time in the day because you're too busy, because you've done such good Mortgage Coach presentations, you've got too many leads. PDF copy for everybody just so they have different forms of viewing it, and always have a good script.
You are killing it, my friend. We are 23 minutes into this, and I mean, we could end the call right now, and I think people got value. So I want to launch a quick poll question. I want to know, how many loans are you closing per month? If you're closing less than 5, let us know. If you're closing 5 to 9, let us know. 10 to 17, and anybody that's closing over 18 loans a month consistently, let us know. By the way, only 34% of you have voted, and folks, when you get into the Mortgage Coach community, we mastermind. That means you participate. So please, 70% minimum, I need voted. I wish I could just figure out a way to get 100% of our community to engage. You're at 53%. Come on, everybody. Let's give me a vote. Let's get up to 70%. So Shane, this is who's on the call. So we got about 60% who are doing 5 or less loans. We got 21% in the 5 to 9, 14 in 10 to 17, and 4% over 18. So, by the way, I mean, just so everyone's aware, anybody that is closing over 100 loans a year, you're one of the top 1% in the country. So, 20% of the people on this call are among the top 1% in the United States of America. And for everybody who's closing less than 5, I mean, I'll tell you right now, Shane is giving you a playbook to taking it to the next level, to closing more than 5 loans a month consistently. You're getting the playbook right here. I don't know what else we're going to talk about, but we could stop right now. If you go back and re-listen to this and upgrade your personal habits, which means every family gets a total cost analysis. If you're closing less than 5 loans a month and you say, I don't have time, it takes too long. By the way, Shane, you be the sales manager. A loan officer who's closing less than 5 loans a month that says, I don't have time to do a total cost analysis, what wisdom do you have as a leader?
I mean, there's a couple things. The first thing we'd say is you're not managing your time well. And there's a quote by Jim Rohn that says, run the day, don't let the day run you. Anybody who's doing, let's say, 4 loans a month and you're working 50 hours a week, your day is running you. You're not in control. You're not being tactical with your day, and you're reacting to people. And as we know in our business, a lot of people, there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of things we can react to. I think for me, it was easier than most. I was a fireman. We can't react to everything going on around us because otherwise we wouldn't do our job. So it's easy for me to step back and just breathe and kind of figure out my day. But yeah, if you're doing 4 loans a month, that's a part-time job. I can do a total cost analysis in 3 minutes, and it looks damn good. I have a good script for it. It would look like it took 30 minutes to put together. If you can do them in 3 minutes, you can do 10 a day, no problem, in half an hour. Time block, turn off your phone, do 10 of these a day, and what impact would you get? I mean, if we actually challenged, we did a 30-day challenge, Dave, and we had everybody do 10 of these a day, 5 days a week, that's 50 a week. Think about the value you get out of that. You would guaranteed get another loan a month, easily. And again, talking about doubling your business, if you're going from 3 loans to 6 loans, the easiest way to do that is be different than your competition, not do what they do. And this is a way to do that.
Love that. Great leadership. By the way, Julie Herman, it looks like she's new to Mortgage Coach. She says, I just started. I started using Mortgage Coach Monday and already sealed 2 deals with a total cost analysis. Congratulations, Julie. Love that little nugget. And by the way, Mike Thomas wants to know what NRA stands for.
Necessary Required Actions. And so in our business, we're getting a little coachy here for a second. In our business, we have things that we have to do every day to make money. There's things we have to do every day for our health. For me, a necessary required action is making sure I'm staying in front of my team. I talk to my team daily. I'm checking in, giving them time. It means I work out every day. Those are necessary required actions. Necessary required action is going through your pipeline every morning. A necessary required action might be, if you're new, calling 5 new real estate agents a day. Necessary action might be writing 5 handwritten cards. I mean, this goes back to the basics of coaching, right? These are the things that if you don't do them every day, your business will go away.
Love that. By the way, folks are loving this call, brother. We're getting lots of great feedback. Ryan Owens just said, dedicated starting Mortgage Coach starting Monday after Thanksgiving.
Love you, Ryan. Glad you're on, man. He's a part of our community. He's a good guy.
Okay, good. All right, Ryan. Good job, buddy. So we had a lot of rabbit trails, but I think they were great rabbit trails. Let's talk about how you describe yourself to a realtor in a way that's compelling and how you do that as a mortgage coach.
Yeah, so first and foremost, I think the mistake that a lot of people make is they want to talk about themselves a lot. And when we meet with a new agent, we want to listen. We want to find out if we're a good fit personally, because at the end of the day, if you're not a good fit personally, like, you're going to struggle to drag these people up the hill with you, and that's not how you make a successful business. So we ask a lot of questions, we listen, we find out what their pain points are, and then one of the things I don't ever talk about, quite honestly, is loans, with the exception of the technology we use to close a loan, to educate on the loan. And so we just talk, we ask questions, we ask what are your goals, where are your headaches, or where are the things that are slowing you down in your business? We do a lot of sales training, we do a lot of social media, we focus on technology that helps people work smarter, not harder. And as we're going through that discussion, we find out really quickly if they meet our expectation. And so we have kind of the 4 pillars that we look for. We call it H4s. Are they humble? Are they hungry? Are they happy? And are they willing to hustle to make sure that they get what they need to feed their family? And we look for those 4 characteristics in everybody that we work with, and people that are on our team and people who want to be on our team. And then with Mortgage Coach, we use it as a value add because we want to talk about, listen, like my job is not to send your client a PDF and tell them what to do. My job is to educate and empower your client. We use technology to empower the client to make their own decisions. When people make their own decisions, they feel like the experience is a 10. When they feel like they're pushed into a decision, they don't. And so we want to use technology to make the consumer understand that they are in control. We're here to help facilitate the process for them, but we want to empower and educate them to do what they want to do. And that's why we use Mortgage Coach.
Wow, there is so much to unpack in what you just said. I've always said when you provide them with options and a total cost analysis, and when they pick the loan officer. And they're never, I mean, that is, even if rates are a little lower somewhere else, even if there's a $500 difference in closing costs, when you give them options and they pick that loan, they have picked you. So I want to unpack a few things. By the way, questions are just flying in. People wanted to clarify what you said: humble, hungry,
happy.
Humble, hungry, happy,
willing to hustle.
Willing to hustle. And I would just throw in, I love Patrick Lencioni's "What's the perfect team?" Humble, hungry, and smart.
Yeah.
So again, that's a subjective thing. But let's put it this way. I love what you also said when you talked about realtors. It sounds like, and I would love to know when you figured this out, that you know what, I need to go, I can't do business with every realtor. And every realtor is not an essence match with me. And I get the feeling that now when you meet with a realtor, you're qualifying them. It's like, is this someone that I am going to get energy working with and I want to work with? And by the way, if they're not, let's have a meeting. Let's be this person. I am not going to chase this person. So, by the way, when did you get that confidence and that clarity? I know it wasn't your first 2 months in the business. When did you get to that point?
I think, what people would say if they're closing a couple deals a month is, yeah, it's easy to say that when you're closing 10, 15, 20 deals, you've got a team of 18, and I respect that. I think it took me a couple of years to really understand my worth. And probably 2 years ago, I started a transformation. I was working 70, 80, 90 hours a week at both jobs. And one day my wife came to me and said, if you put as much energy into me as you did into your business, think of how great our marriage would be. And like, let's be real, like that hit home. And I think there's a lot of people on this call that can relate to that, where you're working so much that you're putting everything before yourself and your family, what really matters. And that's true with your agents you work with. If you let an agent walk all over you and if they don't respect you, then you really don't respect yourself, because you're choosing every day to work with that agent. And I just felt like about a year ago, I looked at myself and said, man, if I was a stock, would I buy my stock? Would I bet on myself? And understanding my self-worth and how we do things was huge for being able to say no. A lot of people have said this before, but no is a lot of times better than saying yes. A powerful no saves you from saying a weak yes. And we just figured that out about a year ago. Everybody on our team is like-minded, so we coach each other daily. If we're meeting with agents, we'll say, man, that agent doesn't sound like they're a good fit, because we're qualifying the agent. They need us more than we need them in a lot of ways. And I think that when you think about yourself as a value add and not a trash can for their emotions and their bad deals, you look at yourself in a different way. And what really came about dating for me was I looked at my time and I found out how much I was worth. And I did that calculation on my return on investment and said, man, if I'm worth X amount of dollars per hour, do I want to be working with an agent who badmouths everybody they work with, doesn't respect my time, isn't organized? Like, that's just not going to be a good fit. And just like when you're courting or you're dating, like, find somebody that has attributes that you either have or attain to have, and just focus on that.
Love that. I want to get tactical on the realtor meeting, because I know you watched the interview I did with Jeremy, because we talked about it in prep. By the way, anybody that's watching the video of this, I'm going to put a link down below to the 5 questions that Jeremy Forcier asked his realtors. And I know you asked similar questions, whether you got it from Jeremy, whether you got it from Josh. I know you mentioned you're a big fan of Jay Crowell in your market. Wherever you got it, I want to make sure we help the mortgage coach community transition from asking questions, understanding essence match, and then being able to have the mortgage coach conversation. Because before I ask you to script it out, because I want you to ask, I want to hear how you go from communication to mortgage coach with an agent. But right now, I want everybody to think about the relationships you have with your agents. And I want you to ask yourself, what level are you at? And here are the levels. Level 3 is they believe that you will keep your promises and you'll close on time. By the way, you don't have any realtor relationships where you don't have a level 1 relationship. Level 2 is where they'll see you as someone who will actually improve conversion for them. Like, they know if they give you a referral, you're level 1, but they also know that you're going to convert. You are going to turn a renter into a sale. You're going to turn that move up can kicker into a listing and a sale. They know that you are a conversion opportunity to them. So that's level 2. Level 3 is where they know that you're going to create urgency. And in today's market, urgency and clarity is the biggest, most valuable thing to agents, because there's a lot of tire kickers. There's a lot of people that will make an offer on a house that they know is going to come in third. There's a lot of move-up buyers that are just like, not now. So agents have a lot of leads, would-be buyers. They need your help creating urgency. So when a realtor sees you as a level 3 loan officer, that means you're level 1, you're level 2, and you're level 3. That's when you really maximize referrals. So Shane, with level 3 being the goal, like you're meeting with level 3, they told you how communication is a top priority. What do you say to that realtor, and how do you use mortgage coach so that they're like, holy shit, this guy is not only going to keep promises, close loans, I like him, I'm going to convert more loans, I'm going to close more deals, and I'm not going to have to go through 5 homes to get there when I give Shane a referral. How do you do it?
Yeah, so one of the questions we ask every time we meet with an agent is, what's holding you back from accomplishing what you want to accomplish? And I would say the majority of the people have the same comments, like Jeremy's questions. It's typically communication. It's typically like reliability, right? So we're not reliable, we don't communicate well, and we don't add value. And so we know what they're going to say when they answer that question. When they do, I say, fantastic. Like, listen, I understand communication is important to you. Would it benefit you if we communicated things in advance of your questions? Would it benefit you if we helped manage your database? For instance, and we run through stories. You introduced me to John, and we closed a loan for John in 22 days. It was 8 days early. It was 10 experience. John is a raving fan. What's great is after John closes on his loan, we're going to follow up with John every quarter. We're going to mail him every month. We're going to text him every holiday. Anytime John sends us an introduction, we track that. We send that back to you, the agent. So we're actually your biggest fan and a funnel to help you generate more sales. Would that add value for you? And of course it does. Nobody's doing that. We talk about that. Then we go into our events that we do. And again, the whole goal is, like, for a single agent on their own, doing all this sounds overwhelming, because it is. They don't have a team. They don't have plans in place. The way they're wired in their brain is not to be disorganized. We take that off their plate and we add that for them. And then we bring it back to technology. We say, hey, listen, we feel that education is one of the most important things we can do as a mortgage advisor. Can I show you what we use to educate your clients? And one of the things we'll talk about is they say, I'm just so tired of this market. Seattle's the hottest market in the United States, I think 15 months in a row. I'm tired of making offers and having them not get accepted. My darn client just won't make an offer over asking. And I say, well, would it empower you if I had technology to show your client that an increase in their purchase price of X only really equates to a difference of monthly payment by $20? And they say, oh my gosh, of course. And then I pull out my MacBook or my iPad, and I show them a total cost analysis, the cost of waiting. And that's one that, like, we've been doing on Mortgage Coach for years, the cost of waiting, the rent versus buy, all these scenarios to show what happens when you push the cart down the road. And when we show them that, I go, would that be beneficial to each of your clients? And if we created a customized presentation, would you feel comfortable sharing that with people that we're not currently working with? And every one of them says yes.
Love that. So I hope everybody took a note. One, he's telling stories. So what stories do you have to tell? Like when you go meet with a realtor, you should know the questions you're going to ask them. And you should kind of have the stories in your back pocket or in your purse that you're going to want to talk about. So I interviewed John Downs, $100 million producer out of Washington, D.C. a couple weeks ago. By the way, I'm going to put a link to that down below. Incredible interview. But, you know, this is what he's doing. You know, he's telling stories, and he's just clicking on a few buttons to say, hey, this is how I am creating urgency in the sales process. So again, that's something you need to practice. Every Wednesday at 9 o'clock, we do mobile training where we actually teach mortgage coach loan officers how to use their mobile device more effectively as a tool to create urgency. So Ryan, I had a question here from Colleen, and I have an answer, but I want to see how you answer it. She says, how do you get people to click on the MC link? I feel like several of my clients don't click on it. So what is in your scripting, and how do you get people to click on the link?
Two answers to that. One is if somebody doesn't want to look at the website, there's no way I can get them to look at the website. So instead of forcing somebody to look at the link if they don't want to look at the link, I'll use the PDF, I'll use screen share, and I'll use Screencast-O-Matic to show a video tutorial. Two, what we do is we use video. So I'll use BombBomb, and I'll create a video that'll say, hey Jane, it's awesome talking to you. Thank you for taking 15 minutes to tell me your story. I wanted to create that comparison that I was talking to you about. Click the link below this video, and it'll show you all the options that we discussed. The chances of them clicking that link significantly goes up. Another thing that like some of these video technologies use, I think it's called a GIF, G-I-F. And that's like and again, I don't know the technical terms, it's like a 2-second revolving video clip. And they find that when you use a GIF, that the rate of people opening and reading their emails goes up by like tenfold. I mean, it's crazy what it does to the email interaction. So if you're having a problem with your email interaction and it's not working well, add a quick video. Do it, even if it's just generic, have a GIF on there. That'll get them to click on the link. And again, if you've explained it in advance, they know what they're getting. They're excited to get it. If you don't talk about it and you just send off an email, they don't know what they're looking at. So I think the biggest thing that most loan officers fail with is their communication. We call it an intake call. It's the first thing we ever do with a consumer. They want to get a rate quote. They want to talk to us about getting a loan. They've been referred. We always do 15 to 30 minutes on the phone to get to know them better. While I'm on the phone with them, I'm talking to them about the TCA.
Well, by the way, Colleen, that's the answer. I mean, I have literally asked that question over 100 times. Every person I've asked it is someone that closes over 100 loans a month, 100 loans a year, 100 loans a year, and it always, one, they would tell you they don't have that problem. Everybody clicks on the link. And two, yeah, it's part of the conversation. The family, they've asked great questions. They've asked them what their goals are. And now they said, you know what, I'm going to forward you this. John Downs calls it his digital mortgage analysis. We call it the total cost analysis. I think that's probably the most common term used in the market. But whatever they call it, I'm going to send you blank. It's going to show you, 3 options, 2 options, and show you how, that goal you told me, it's going to show you how to achieve that goal. And so I'm going to get it to you. Click on the link. Some of them, if the family's in the office, they'll say, hey, download the app now. So that, we got lots of different strips. Also, I would tell you, Colleen, I'll put a link below, if you're watching this on the recording, a link below to the Mortgage Coach Scripts call, where I asked Jeremy, Danny Harani, Tim Brahim, there's some scripts below. And by the way, I also think I transcribed that. I don't think we did. There is a LinkedIn article called Mortgage Coach Scripts. So you go to LinkedIn, my profile, look under my articles for, I think it's called 10 Real World Scripts, and we've got some scripts there for you. All right, so we have got 15 minutes, and the questions are rocking. People are loving you. Chris just said, bam, sell it up front. By the way, Chris, I should have just said that earlier. I think I talked for 2 to 3 minutes, and I should have just said what you said. Sell it up front. So let's try to give everybody some ideas on what they could do to get more leads, whether that's calling past clients. It's November. not a lot of loans out there. What advice are you giving your loan officers that are just, we've talked about conversion, competitive differentiation, but let's say we don't have any loan opportunities. What leadership and advice do you have to the mortgage coach community?
Yeah, I think that everybody's going to go for the agents. And again, that's what like coaching groups and everybody else will tell you. Just call agents, cold call agents. But what about financial planners? What about CPAs? What about divorce attorneys? You can use these presentations to reach out to people who, for one, they're fantastic referral partners because they don't bug you on the weekends. Financial planners know every inch of the client's financials, and they don't like, and think about this with a financial planner. Like the biggest fear, and again, I think if you address somebody's fear, you'll have a client for life. The biggest fear a financial planner has, in my perspective, is having somebody cash out their stock and go pay cash for a house. If somebody does that, they lose their portfolio. What if we had a presentation we could show them that would show them how actually the net worth is higher if they keep their money invested and put less down for a down payment on a home? You can do that. I mean, that's a 10-minute presentation. You can create a total cost analysis and show them 3 options: buying with 20% down, 50% down, or all cash. And what you'll see is unless they're investing more on, making 2%, then now in this market, where the stock market is today, people are getting 8–10% returns. It's so much better to keep your money invested. You could have a meeting with a financial planner every day for the rest of the year and show them your TCA, we call it an e-comparison, that you could create for the financial planner to share with their consumers. Now what you're doing is, if you're like me and you started and you have no database, now you're not using your database, you're latching onto their database. And so now every financial planner that has a book of 1,000 people, they've got 100 people that they know they're scared are going to cash out their money to pay cash for a home. And you can show through a TCA or an e-comparison how to keep their money invested, which quite honestly too, at the end of the day, we're all about educating and adding value. If their net worth is higher, it's a good thing for them. They don't know about it because nobody's ever educated them. And so it's our job to find other avenues to educate. Divorce attorneys, same thing. CPAs, same thing. So I think it's good to go after the agents. And yes, that's our bread and butter. But everybody's going after the agents. When the market slows down, like Dave mentioned, everybody cold calls agents. And so they're getting 7, 8, 10 calls a day. Why not be different and do it in a different way? Why not reach out to those CPAs, those financial planners, and find their book of business because typically they'll do a quarterly or yearly review. Every month when they do a yearly review with somebody, they'll CC us on an email and introduce us to a client who may be looking to cash out their stocks.
Love that advice. By the way, I'm going to share my screen real quick. I want to shine a light on a strategy. This Friday on our mastermind event, and by the way, right now you are looking at the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind group in Facebook, but we had Rick Shear as our guest, and Rick is a $100 million producer in Boston. We were only going to have a half-hour conversation about how he uses his assistant, but he ended up, he was so good, we just kept on rolling with Rick. Now the idea that he shared was how he's doing annual reviews. And I want to share this because the way Rick is doing those annual reviews, not only is he getting loans from these annual reviews, he's getting referrals to give back to realtors and, believe it or not, CPAs and financial planners. So in this, I think I did it so it's only a 10-minute call. I actually edited it, so like here's 10 minutes of Rick Shear. And in this thing, he shared how every month he's got about 100 past customers. Now again, this is a guy who's been doing a lot of business for a long time, and he is sending an email, and in that email, I think we actually put a template right here. By the way, can you confirm that you can see this, Shane?
Yeah, and you know what's so funny is I literally sent this link to my entire LO team this morning at like 6 o'clock because it's such a great reminder to do that. Not only do a yearly review, but add some value to that review.
Absolutely. So he is sending an email, by the way, this specific email, where he's telling the family, and click here to schedule a 15-minute. So he's using, a scheduling software like Calendly, or, there's a dozen of them out there. The family's clicking the link. They're self-scheduling a 15-minute annual review meeting. And then now in Rick's case, he's like, okay, I don't want just 10 out of 100. I want to get 20 to 30 out of 100. So then he's using slide dial to leave a voicemail. He's sending another email. And in some cases, he's texting. But the bottom line is, now in Rick's case, he's delegated this to his assistant, but he's getting 25 to 30 meetings every month with past customers, and he's not only having a total cost analysis conversation and getting loans, he's getting leads to get back to financial planners, CPAs, and realtors. So, by the way, guys, huge idea. You know, you're just so missing out if you're not implementing annual reviews. And I could go on, but we've only got 10 minutes left, and this is our interview with Shane. So, by the way, Shane, you like that, I guess. You forwarded it out to your team.
Yep.
Will you do me a favor? And in 2 weeks, let us know what kind of results you're getting. Like, we know Rick's been doing this for a year, so he's got it up to, I don't know, 30%. I would love to know with your Jungo, with your text. By the way, are you using scheduling software like that where the family self-schedules?
Yeah, it's been huge for my business. I use Schedule once, and I absolutely love it. In fact, I have it for my loan partners too, and so we have a team calendar, we have individual calendars, and then I have my own. So it's been huge. I mean, yesterday I had 8 automatically scheduled appointments, and all I had to do was check my phone. They were already there. It's a huge value add, and it's a way to save a ton of time.
Love that. So, by the way, folks, if you are using scheduling software, please let us know what you're using. I will, as we wrap up this call, I will share that. So, hey, you're a mentor, you're a coach. Give wisdom to the community. I mean, we're in November. It's Thanksgiving this week. You know, what advice are you giving to the people that you serve and that you coach? If you could just give us 3 minutes of leadership that may be on point with Mortgage Coach, it may be something totally unrelated.
I think the biggest thing for me, and I just got back from a week in Laguna Beach at an entrepreneurial men's boot camp where we got beat up, carried sandbags, and learned in our business. I think it's so important to not only be in collaboration and partnership with other like-minded people, but get out of your comfort zone. So one of the things we talked about last week, and it's been kind of a constant theme for me and my team, is we do not have a finish line. Like, we take vacation, we value our time, but we don't say, hey, it's December, it's November, the market's slow, I'm going to slow down. I don't let the market dictate my results. I dictate my results. If that means I have to go out and be more creative, add more value, do more things because the deals don't just come in, you know, like they used to because of rates, that's okay because we don't have a finish line. I think what happens with a lot of people is they think, well, they let the environment dictate their success. Well, it's the slow time of year, it's this and it's that. But man, if you looked at your market share, and I had a coach that spoke very plainly to me one day and asked me what my market share was. It's like 1% or less. If you doubled your market share, you double your business, and that's only going from 1% to 2%. Think about that result that would have on your life, your family, your business, and how that would impact you. So the biggest thing that I would just encourage anyone is don't set a finish line. Don't have a result where it says, well, once I get to this point, I'm good. Make your finish line something that you can never achieve, that you want to continue to add value. One of the things that a great man said to me, dollars follow value. If you add value, Mortgage Coach is a great way to do that, the dollars will follow. And I think that as we get into the end of the year, that's the biggest thing that we're focusing on with our team is we just got done 2 weeks ago. We had a boot camp for our team. Everybody came in on a Saturday. Phones were off, and we just were grinding and getting, like, sharpening our axe for next year. And I think that's what's important is don't take the month off. Family vacations are great. Managing your time well. Say no on Sundays so that you can work in December and get ready for 2018 and continue to grow and be successful.
I love it. So, guys, we're 5 minutes. I will be able to get some last-minute questions in. I do want to share my screen again because I just want to remind folks, we have some of the best interviews on the planet. If you're a mortgage professional who wants to optimize your success, you need to watch a Mortgage Coach video every single week. Just whether it's an hour, whether it's 15 minutes, you could put this on your iPhone and you can listen to it like a podcast. So it's just pure audio. Highly recommend as you're getting ready to close the year strong. If you haven't watched the 5 questions with Jeremy, watch it. If you haven't, watch our scripts conversation. It's got 10 real-world scripts. Watch that. If you didn't watch this interview I did with the Gaylord Hansen team where we talked about their 5 realtor strategies, absolute must video. So check that out. Also, I mentioned the John Downs interview. again, I would say the call I'm doing right now with Shane, by the way, I'm going to be recommending this through the end of the year and for a long time to come. You're such an amazing success story, going from full-time fireman, part-time loan officer, full-time loan officer. Now you're a branch leader, you're a mentor, you're a coach. I mean, this is the playbook for success. So you've got it all right here. Check out some of this content during your downtime. Now let's see, we've got 5 more minutes till we wrap this up. I got one big question. By the way, yes, Patty, all these videos are on YouTube, on the Mortgage Coach channel. I'll show that to you really quick. So this is our YouTube channel. If you do not subscribe to this, you're missing out. Make sure you subscribe to the Mortgage Coach channel. And we have organized these so that Tuesday calls, like this particular call, will be put into this playlist. Real world scripts, this is that John Downs call that I talked about. Jeremy's 5 questions, some of our all-time greatest hits. And then every time I do an interview, I throw it up here unedited. Some of them get edited by our marketing team and promoted. Here was an interview that I did with Shane a month ago, which really inspired today's call. But let's close on this question from Ryan. Ryan wants to know, actually not Ryan, it was Juan. Juan wants to know how you're approaching CPAs and financial planners. Any closing tips as we wrap up today's call?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing with any referral partner is you want to address their fear. What is their fear? Because if you can solve somebody's fear, and again, this goes back to being a fireman, if you can alleviate their fears, you will have a lifelong friend and client. With CPA, and again, here's the thing, the simplest way is to ask them, what's your biggest struggle right now in business? What's holding you back from getting to where you want to go? Asking powerful questions can lead to powerful answers and powerful solutions, and that's what we do. In fact, we do that with agents. One of the things we did is we sat down with 15 agents, we said, hey, what are loan officers doing in their communication that you like and don't like? Have you ever asked an agent what communication they don't like? What we found is they hated those automated emails that all the loan officers send out every month. So what do you think we do? Don't send any email. We, again, want to be different than the competition. Same thing with financial planners and CPAs. Ask the financial planners, what's your pain point? We know their pain point is they don't want people cashing out their portfolios. And when they do that in our world, it's to buy a home, pay off the debt. You can do all of those solutions can be done through a mortgage. And with rates where they are, people would be stupid not to take advantage of that.
By the way, you just said something super smart. And I've interviewed, countless realtors. One interview I did with Realtor Glenn Bill, a mega producer out of Indiana. I mean, guy's football coach, very candid. I think it was titled, What Realtors Really Think of Loan Officer Marketing. I see you smiling, I don't know if you saw it. But he pretty much said the same thing. He's just like, noise,
Spam.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm not here to say don't have an email campaign and don't have marketing, but people want personalization. They want to know, you show me, you know me, and I love that closing. Find out what their fear is, and then communicate them in a way that alleviates that fear and counters that. So everybody, let us know what you thought of today's call. If we surpassed your expectations with value, which I have high expectations, and Shane, you shattered them. So I definitely give you the highest rating. If you're new to the community and you want to get a demo of Mortgage Coach, click the last option, say, hey, I want to get a demo, learn more about Mortgage Coach. Shane, you rocked it out, brother. I am super grateful. If people do want to connect with you and just follow you, should they, LinkedIn, Facebook, is there any way that people can learn more about you and just follow you? And even I know you do some coaching and mentoring. Any way the community can connect and be part of your community?
I think the most powerful and the simplest way is just through Facebook. Just send me a direct message. My goal in this industry is to add value. If I add value every hour, every day, mission accomplished. And we do that around the country. Like I mentioned earlier, it's so fun to shrink the globe. I've got friends from all over the country from this business, and it's been so, and I never thought that when I started. So We've got friends on the East Coast. We're in a mastermind group before. They're amazing gentlemen who are branch managers throughout the country. Message me on Facebook. Would love to connect. And again, like the thing is I have blind spots that you don't have. I'll learn something from everybody I talk to. And I think that's the biggest thing is be humble enough. Throw your pride away to just ask questions and learn from each other.
Humble, hungry, and smart. Shane Kidwell, you epitomize that. Thank you for being a leader in the mortgage coach community. Keep rocking it out there, bringing loan officers into the business, getting them delivering total cost analysis to family. I am grateful for the impact you create. Great call today, brother.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
And happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I'm actually shutting down right now and driving down to my mom's property with my brother. So happy holidays. Have a blessed Thanksgiving, everybody. This call is a wrap.